So we are down to, what do we got, 9 days left to get the Evo 8 completely done and ready for its first show event. So we are bringing the Vossen apparel booth to an upcoming show called Stance Wars over in Seattle. And while this is clearly not a stance car whatsoever, what it is a show car, and I want it to be done. Cars are never done, but done enough to bring to the show. So here's what we're going to do today. Man, oh man, I'm excited because I ordered these right here. These are a set of new seats for the car. I ordered these things, I would say like 6 months ago, and they're here. They are finally freaking here, man. So excited. Good old set of Recaros. So I went with the Sportster GTs. There was a few different options for the car, but when we open these up, I think it'll make sense as to why I went with the Sportster GT. We got a certificate of authenticity with a nice little badge, a sticker, and some bolts. Can you see why I went with the Sportster GTs? These are a very Evo looking seat. They're fairly similar to an Evo 9 seat, I would say, but a little bit better. Check these things out. They are still reclinable, just like an Evo seat is. Very nice cloth fabric throughout. Love the design. Let's just hope I fit in these seats. These things definitely were not cheap either. I forget what I paid, but I know it was over $2,000. If I remember correctly. But for a car like this, man, I didn't want to cheap out whatsoever. I want to build this thing exactly to my vision, and I think these are the ones. Now in this box, we should have the sliders from Recaro as well. A lot of people wouldn't put sliders on a seat like this, but I wanted it more OEM. So here's everything laid out. The seat bases, these bolt to the floor of the car, the seats, and the sliders and handles and instructions and stickers. Let's go ahead and get the SSL seats out of here. If anyone is interested in a set of perfect condition SSL seats, let me know. I'm gonna get rid of them. I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna do for the rear. I might go to an OEM 9 in the rear. But for starters, let's just get the fronts swapped out. So we got the OEM seat out. Here's a nice little side-by-side comparison. Leather, cloth, a little bit fancier, I guess you could say, of a design. Let's go ahead and get the sliders and the base, the bracket, assembled on the Sportster GT, and we can get the seats in the car. So the first step we're gonna do is get the sliders mounted onto the bottom of the seat. Now they do say in the instructions that these 1/2-inch spacers are required. Now we're not going to be using those spacers. All you need is a tiny little thin washer. One of these guys here, maybe a 2 or 3 mil thick washer, because there's this little bracket right here that the base will hit if we don't have those. The spacers are a bit too thick for my liking. I already have one of the seats in the car, and I ended up pulling it back out to take the spacers out because it was just simply put sitting a little bit too high. So it's gonna go bolt with washer through, and then a little washer acting as a spacer on the back side. And now we get this on the seat. Both sliders are installed. Torque spec is 195 inch-pounds for the slider bolt to the seat. Got our little adjuster bar installed. And now we're gonna go ahead and get the base installed. So I got the top bolts in. Unfortunately, in the back, nothing lines up with the sliders. Not a big deal. All we need to do is drill a little hole in the slider and we can get our bolts installed. I just got the seatbelt buckle installed, and as you can see, it just flops wherever it wants. So I have a pretty good idea of what I want to do. Quick little drill and tap, put an M6 Allen in there, and now it acts as a stopper. So it's more OEM feeling. Now it doesn't look OEM. It was either that or weld and repowder coat the entire bracket. But I think that's a pretty nice, simple, clean solution. Let's get old girl in the car. So we have both seats fully installed, and man, oh man, these look amazing. Very OEM looking, OEM plus looking. I dig these a lot. Yeah, they were spendy, but they hug you quite a bit more. I fit wonderfully in these. If you're wondering, I'm 200, right at 200 pounds, 6 foot. Definitely hug you nice. And they look so beautiful, so beautiful. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do in the rear yet. I might actually keep the leathers. I thought it was gonna be way too like odd looking with the leathers in the rear, but I think it looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Comment below. You like the new Recaros? I love them. I'll link them down below if you want to pick up a set for your car. I would love to take that thing for a quick rip and see how they feel in action, but that steering rack is so messed up that we need to get that fixed before I can drive that car anymore. There's pretty much no power steering fluid left in it, and that's how you really destroy the rack and the pump. I would love to get a new rack in the Evo, but we need to do a little bit of work on the STI. I've been needing to do this for a while. The pads on the car are getting down there, and I figured let's just go ahead and slap on a brand new set of drilled rotors, just like it comes from the factory, Brembo rotors, and a set of ceramic pads. A lot of times I would just reuse factory rotors and just have them turned. Shops nowadays charge so much to turn rotors. It's not that much more money just to buy a brand new set, and then you don't have to wait for the rotors to be done at the shop. That is what I tend to do nowadays. Just buy brand new rotors, toss the old ones out, and be done with it. For starters, let's get these old rotors off the car. We got to pull the brake caliper. There's 2 bolts on the backside for the brake caliper holding it onto the knuckle. Should be a 19mm bolt on this car, and hopefully the rotor will just come right off. If not, there's some threaded holes right here. I'll show you how to do that if necessary. Rotor is indeed stuck on the hub, so what we're going to do is grab an M8 by a 1.25 bolt and thread it into that hole. It'll pull the rotor a bit. We'll go to that hole, pull the rotor out of it a little bit, kind of go back and forth, and that'll act as a pulley to get that guy off. New rotors always come oiled up just so they don't rust when they're being stored. So it's very, very important and crucial that we grab some brake cleaner, get that guy all cleaned up, especially where the pads ride, and then we can get it on the car. brand new brake rotor is installed. Now let's go ahead and pop the old pads out. So we have this bolt right here. Looks to be maybe a 13mm head. Pin there, those just push right out, pull that bolt out, and the pads will come out. Pads still had quite a bit of life left on them, but we're going to a better pad anyway, so let's get the new ones on. All new hardware as well. So the brakes are all finished up. Now before the wheels go back on, I decided to go through and ceramic coat them. Let's do a little side by side of a cleaned up wheel, uncoated, cleaned up wheel, coated. Coated, uncoated, you can see it just adds a little bit of depth, a little bit of shine. And with those new ceramic pads, there's gonna be quite a bit of brake dust. The ceramic coating is gonna make it so much easier to clean. I am using the new Armor Shield Max from Avalon King. This is a 3-year coating. Same stuff we applied on the paint and the windows. Today's the last day. If you want to get in on the sale, 20 bucks off. I'll link it down below. All right guys, got the wheels coated, some tire shine applied. This is its final form. It looks so freaking good, man. Fully polished out, ceramic coated. This car's never, ever been this clean. New rotors look nice. No weird rust issues going on in the rotors. Now remember guys, we are giving away that car. There's only 4 days left to get entered in on winning it. So if you are interested, every $3 you spend on the website is 1 entry. Head to the website, get some goodies. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to pick up the seats we put in the Evo, I'll link them down below. And if you want to pick up the brakes that we put on the STI, I'll link those down below as well, along with the ceramic coat.